Are we allowed to shake hands? There, fantastic.
Breaking the rules.
Yeah, we're going to break the rules. We're all rule breakers. No one's going to grass us up here because we've all been breaking the rules. Please take a seat.
Thank you.
Look, it's good to see you, and thank you so much for agreeing to stand in at the moment. But look, just to give you an idea about this conversation, what we're going to do is hear about the long-term visions for Revolut and how the super app journey is unfolding. Mikko's also brought with him the metaphorical crystal ball. You dusted it down especially for us, and we're very grateful for that, because what we're going to do is look at some predictions. And you don't predict in 5 years, you're going for 10. You can go a bit further afield if you want. Is 10 restrictive?
I mean, I'm not sure I can even make it that far, to be honest.
We'll see how far we can get. But look, it's great to see you. The bottom line is that every journey has a beginning. What I want to look at is Revolut's journey. How would you gauge it so far? And what are the goals that you have for the next 2-3 years?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here. We feel that we've been, quite successful to date, and we're excited about the progress that we've made. And if you think about our journey, basically we started by offering kind of multi-currency accounts plus debit cards and this was kind of the key product was instant FX at interbank rates, which was really a product that customers loved, especially around the travel use case. And then we expanded that from that base to include now subscriptions. So we offer several tiers: Metal, Premium, Plus, and Junior. We offer wealth products, so crypto, equities, commodities. We've launched insurance, starting with pet insurance, and we've rolled out credit beginning in Europe. And hopefully we'll be in the UK and our other markets shortly. So, our vision has always been basically that we want to create, a super app. And we want to do that on the one hand for consumers and on the other hand for businesses. And we're basically still just at the beginning of the journey.
Yeah, I'm glad you've talked about the super app, because that's the ambition, to become Britain's first super app. So, look, I appreciate that this is a journey which is still in the making, but what is the next step to make that a reality? Because that is a very substantial vision.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the long term of the vision and how we see it sort of being completed, as I briefly mentioned, on the one hand, we're offering all these products to consumers, right? That's through your mobile device. We're also building a super app platform for businesses, and the vision is ultimately to basically combine these two ecosystems. And we're going to do that through 3 main areas: through payments, through e-commerce, and through payroll. And that ecosystem coming together, that's how we'd see it.
So it becomes seamless, effectively.
Yeah, seamless, frictionless. That's how we think about it.
Yeah. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, what drives it is innovation. And it's innovation so that you can improve experiences for customers. So how is that super app model going to change the game for the customer experience, but specifically in the area of financial services? Because that's where the big changes can happen. That's where you see the results.
Yeah, we see the innovation coming in 2 ways. One is this isn't a product that typically you'd see, and this, the ecosystem doesn't exist. I mean, it exists in some markets, particularly in Asia, the concept has been built out. But really the reason why we think it's innovative is because you're able to offer what we think of as 10 times better and 10 times cheaper products to your customers. And the 10 times better comes from being able to have your whole financial life in a single sort of point, right? And through these seamless experiences, the frictionless experiences. And on the other hand, 10 times cheaper because from a business perspective, if one of the main costs of business is acquiring your customers. And if you have already acquired your customer, you're going to have no cost of sort of cross-selling. And when you don't have any cost of cross-selling, you can offer much sort of lower cost products to customers, and obviously people love value, right? So that's why we think it's innovative.
But look, at the end of the day, you are growing. People are talking about you for all the right reasons, I stress. And you've got the vision. It's the UK, the EU, but what about beyond those parameters? Are you hoping to be a super app that has a global footprint? I mean, where will that footprint take you?
Yeah, we've talked about our goal is to be what we call a truly global digital bank. And the truly global part of that has begun with the 32 countries in the UK and Europe, and then we've expanded into 4 countries outside the UK and Europe already. So that's the US, Singapore, Japan, and Australia.
Key markets.
Yeah, key markets. And then, in terms of next stages, we've got people on the ground in Mexico, India, and Brazil, and we hope to sort of enter with live products there over the next sort of 12 to 18 months.
Because you've been really busy, really, haven't you?
Yeah. It's an exciting place to be, and kind of the ambition, this global ambition. To me, it makes a lot of sense, but I think it's quite kind of motivating for the team as well.
But let's take that concept about something making sense. I mean, do you see Revolut perhaps launching products and services beyond financial services itself? Because, look, you talked about pet insurance. Are we talking, for example, about grocery shopping, e-commerce, ride-hailing? It's not implausible, because it's really a case of joining the dots, and once you know what your customers want, if that's where they're leading you, why not?
Yeah, to some extent, it's a dance with your customers, right? They have to want to engage with your sort of non-financial services products. But we've begun, so the short answer to the question is yes, we want to have a full suite of products that might extend.
So you can actually see yourself going into those areas?
Yes, and we have already. So the first product that we launched was called Stays, and basically you can go onto the Revolut app and book a hotel stay and get up to the 10% cash back instantly. And this is quite kind of adjacent to the core of Revolut, right, around travel, the travel use case. But you'll see us expand into other kind of e-commerce verticals, probably in the near future. Expansion of travel, but also other sort of shopping type activities.
Look, I'm sure that you've heard this question many times before, but I guess some people are very worried that as you grow, as you expand, that somewhere along the line you abandon the culture that has been the beating heart of Revolut. How do you ensure that, yes, you can grow, but you never lose the originality of what you were all about from the very beginning of that journey?
Yeah, it's super important, right? So it's a great question. For us, I think the easiest thing to talk about, considering the pace of growth that we've had, is really around recruiting new people and making sure that the new joiners can embrace kind of the values that we have, or that they sort of come to the company having already demonstrated those values. And so that's a huge part of the interview process, is making sure that they fit with our values. Deliver wow and never settle and get it done, and these kind of things, concepts that we think are at the core of what we do and are sort of generating our success. And at the end of the day, and I'm sure this is true for anyone that's kind of run a business, but the core of your success is around people and culture. So that's highly important.
Sure, which some companies unfortunately have lost, and it sometimes takes a scandal to re-engage with those values at the very beginning. But
not looking for a scandal.
No, we're not looking for any scandals. We're certainly not going to find any here. But look, clearly, whatever it is that you're doing, you are doing it right, because people are talking about you. You're shaking up the banking world, and imitation is the finest form of flattery, etc. Particularly where incumbent traditional players are involved, seeing what you're doing, perhaps stealing a march. But what thoughts do you have on the shifting tides in financial services? And again, coming back to this, what are your predictions for the next decade for yourselves, obviously, but in terms of this area where you're playing?
I feel that technology is going to continue to disrupt financial services. And in a sense, the disruption is really hardly begun, in a way. If you look at it, if you think about financial services as being kind of payments, credit, insurance, and wealth and trading, and I'm sure I've left out kind of more critical sections, but those being, together an enormous industry, trillions and trillions of dollars. The only industry that to me feels substantially disrupted has been kind of payments. So there's a lot, and maybe people will tell me I'm wrong about that, but I feel that there's still an enormous opportunity ahead. The global kind of ambitions that we have, I don't think anyone's been able to really achieve. So I think you'll see disruption in terms of being able to create these global networks, and then coming to this vision of connecting consumers and merchants in a frictionless way. I think that we'll basically kind of play that out and be a much bigger sort of market share from new entrants versus the incumbents over time.
But it's interesting that you said we're really at the beginning of this journey.
I think it's just factual. If you look at sort of the revenue pots and profit pools, there really hasn't been much kind of disruption so far.
But it's nice to be amongst the top disruptors, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mikko, we have to leave it there, but thank you so much for spending the time with us. Sadly, you can't take any questions from the audience. You've got a business to run, but thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for
Mikko
having me.
Salovaara.